Yo, let's really get into it. This is an unfiltered session for everybody who out there listening. If you're really trying to get to the money, everybody's talking about these 90-day runs, doing this and doing that. But first, before anything starts, okay, you got to give it up to the Most High. Deuteronomy 8:18, he gives us the ability, the power to get wealth, okay? That's first and foremost. You need to understand that. That's where our source comes from. If you ain't no believer in God, then you can just exit the video, right? Unapologetically. It is what it is. But outside of that, you have to first change your mind around money. Now, black people, if you grew up in a certain way, and this goes for anybody else that grew up in a circumstance of the urban setting, the hood, whatever you want to call it, a lot of the ways we handle money is shaped by the things we have seen over time and the way we have been raised to handle money and think about money, and it's kind of problematic, okay? Very problematic, to say the least. If you grew up in poverty or lower middle class, paycheck to paycheck was like normal. Not going on vacations was normal. Never flying until you're like going on a school trip when you're like, 8th grade or high school. That's normal, right? Not having the latest cars, not your parents not being able to afford the Jordans or whatever the case may be, that's normal. That's just normal everyday living. The advice I got coming up from my mom was to go to school, college, and get a good job. It was never about building up good credit. It was never about starting a business. It was never about saving money, Now, she didn't want me to be a spendthrift either, but she wasn't really talking about saving money all the time, right? And I realized that some of my ways and my habits that I formed over the years were all results of my circumstances and my lack of knowledge. I remember an old head that I knew that was a friend of my mom's was into real estate. And at the time, I was like 21, 22. And he told me, he was like, Tony, go get some real estate. Go get a building over here. And he was talking about this street called Berkeley in Chicago. It was 43rd and Berkeley. The property was only like maybe $13,000 to $20,000 or something like that. Now, I had no money. I wasn't working full time at the time. I was still in college, whatever. He told me to buy it. That's all he said. He said, man, because this would be worth something. He never walked it down for me. He never explained it to me. I never knew the process of buying a home or anything like that. Now, fast forward to years later. The area he was talking about, me purchasing a home, became one of the most bustling places in Chicago to purchase, the Bronzeville area. And when I tell you that same property today would probably be worth $1 million. It'll make you sick. Now, had I had a little more knowledge on my own, maybe I would have tried to purchase that place. Because if you $20,000 with the little money I was making, I definitely could have afforded to at least make the payments on that if they would have approved me for a loan. I don't know what my credit score was looking like back then. But my point is, tutelage is everything. And then, like I didn't even look into it because I'm like, I couldn't fathom the idea of being able to do something like that, because I'm like, I'm not a real adult. I'm just like a baby adult. I'm 21, I'm 22, whatever. It's not, I can't do nothing like that. I just couldn't see it. So first and foremost, your mindset got to be different. You got to learn everything you can about finances and making money while you're young, and learning what to do. See, the people of this day and age have way more resources at hand. Okay, like, yeah, I'm old. I'm 45. Well, 46 now. Just turned 46. But back when I was in high school, yes, we had the internet, but it was dial-up. Mostly you had to research everything by going to a library and getting an actual book, an encyclopedia or something like that, in order to find out what you needed to find out. There was a barrier. Now you can just type anything in and learn how to do anything. And that's the beauty of today. So truthfully, today, there was no YouTube back then. There's no excuse for not knowing how to do anything today. There's no excuse, really. But you still got to have the right mindset. So even with all this wealth of knowledge, people are still broke. People are still lacking skills and things like that. You got to change your mindset first. The Bible says, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You got to renew your mind based off whatever circumstances you were raised in. Now, if you were raised around people who were very good with money and, had good jobs and good careers, or business owners and entrepreneurs, then you got a head start. But the majority of people in my circumstances did not grow up like that, per se. And so, find a way. You got to be willing to read, or at least listen to audiobooks or something like that, to learn about money, financial literacy, things of that nature. Okay? Now, simply put, if you're 16 and up, okay? And if you're not, let's just say you're in high school and you got a little hustle to you, you can do certain things to make money, okay? Now, you can make money online. You can do stuff like start a YouTube channel and, figure that hustle out, especially before the whole 8,000, watch hours thing goes into play in February. But start a YouTube channel, make money that way, monetize your channel, and make money through AdSense. You can be an influencer on TikTok. You can do TikTok Shop. There's so many different methods and ways to make money. But you got to understand what to do with money first. Because what you do with a little bit of money, okay, is going to determine what you do with a large amount of money. The worst thing you can do is get a large amount of money and just squander it and just blow it, right? It's foolish. So learning about how to budget first, how to pay yourself first. Those are the things that really matter, okay? You get paid $1,000 today, right? Let's say you do something, you work for somebody, or you get a job, and your first paycheck or your first time getting paid is $1,000. What do? Do you go buy a pair of shoes right away because you've been waiting to get the new Kyries, or the new Jordans, or some Balenciagas, or whatever the case may be? Is that the first thing you go do? Spend $2 to $3 and up hundreds of dollars on a pair of shoes just because you got $1,000 in your hand? No. You have to save some money. You got to put some money away. Minimum that you should put away if you got $1,000 is 20%. And what's 20% of $1,000? That's $200, right? That's the first thing you should do before anything else. Because if you don't at least do that, at least have $200 set to the side that you can go back to if you have to, then you're being foolish with your money. Think about it. The younger you are, the less responsibilities you have. So you probably don't have a car note, and if you do, it's probably not that much, and you're probably staying at home with your parents, so you're not paying rent. You might have a cell phone bill to pay, so you're spending about $50 a month on your cell phone bill. You got minimal bills, minimal responsibilities. So putting something to the side, cool. Then you say, okay, what do I need to live on to the next time I get some more money? Now, if you have a job and you're going to get $1,000 every 2 weeks or every week, then you got to learn how to budget for that time period, okay? You got to know what it looks like. Okay, if I go out to eat and spend money 2 times a day out to eat, I might be spending upwards to $40 a day. Does that really fit in my budget? Probably not. Probably not. So what do? Go to the grocery store, get some lunch meat, get some bread, make some sandwiches, do some form of meal prep on your level, whatever it is, right? And if you're staying at home with your parents, eat the food that your mama cooks. If she cooks, or if you cook, and there's some groceries in the house, cook the food. That way, you're not spending a whole lot of money out to eat, because it does add up. Now, other things you need to do. You need to be having plans on expanding your money, right? Now, a lot of people are not going to get it. You probably not going to know about stocks. I'm not going to even talk about stocks and investing in that kind of way, okay? But you can start a business. You can start a detailing business. You can mow lawns. You can say, you know what? I'm going to save up some money or spend some money on purchasing a lawnmower because I got to make some extra money in between. So purchase a lawnmower or get a power washer. You know, anything that you can do to hustle up and make some more money, right? These are some of the baseline things you can do as a young dude out here trying to get to it. Now, all you guys that's trying to be in relationships and you got girlfriends and stuff like that, like, I'm going to be honest, you shouldn't have a girlfriend. Not until you financially stable in some kind of way. And when I say financially stable, I don't mean you got a house and a car and all that. I'm saying financially stable for your level. Okay? For whatever level you're on in life, whether you're 16, 20, 25, or 30, whatever level you're on, you need to be somewhat financially stable in order to start entertaining, taking girls out all the time, right? You need to be disciplined and focused on your purpose. Your purpose is important. Once you got your purpose locked in, once you got, a set plan, have a goal first. Like, man, you know what? Before I get to dating, I'm going to go on one of them 90-day runs that everybody's talking about. And I'm going to save up $5,000 or $10,000. And then you say, okay, cool. I got $10,000 set up. And it's just set to the side. You're not doing that with that $10,000 yet because you don't really have a real plan of what to do with $10,000. We'll get to that in another video. But that $10,000 you saved up, you put it to the side in a high yield savings account, okay? Because like I said, we ain't talking about investing yet, but in a high yield savings account where you get 3% and up, in your APY, right? Which is your yield. So that means your money will accrue more money because you have it in this vehicle, right? Then you say, okay, cool. Now my next plan is to figure out how to keep new money coming in at all times. Once you do that, and once you got those systems in place, you got a car, you can buy your own food, whatever. You can buy your own clothes, you can support yourself. Then you can move on to dating regularly, okay? And still, even within that, don't let no woman trick you out your money and have you thinking that you got to do, $200 and $300 dinners just to appease her. If she doesn't like you for who you are, then she ain't for you. See, here goes the tip about women. Women like who they like. They put up with who they put up with. There's a difference. There's some women that would love to go to Starbucks and have a coffee date with you. But with him, they need him to run that steakhouse, right? They need him to, pay for her hair and nails to get done in order to go out with him, right? There's women who are running those type of plays with certain men. But the men they really like and respect, he ain't got to do all that. He don't have to do, his barrier to entry is much lower than that other guy. So you got to figure out who you are to that woman. Test her out. Tell her, hey man, we gonna grab some ice cream, froyo, and take a walk on the beach if you got a beach in your area, or we're gonna take a walk in the park and just talk and get to know each other. If a woman ain't willing to do that with you, she's not for you. Remember that. I'm not saying that women don't deserve nice things and being taken out and wine and dine. Yes, they do. But make sure she deserves it first. Make sure you're worthy of being in her presence as well. Right? And so you got to start thinking about this stuff, man. Your mindset got to change about everything. How you move, the type of clothes you wear, all that kind of stuff. Because if you out here trying to impress people with your clothing and the things that you got on, you're gonna be broke. Okay? If you have a car that you can't truly afford, just because you know that's gonna attract the women that you want to attract, you're gonna be broke, and you're gonna have to do crazy things to keep up appearances for other people. You got to be mindful. You got to steward your money well. All right. So look, these are some baseline things. I'm just getting on a baseline level of what guys need to do out here. This is no so-called sauce. This is the truth. This is just the truth from an OG, from an old head, whatever you want to call me, Unc. It is what it is. I'm there now. All right? But that's what you need to do to really start getting to the money. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, get you a skill. If you're not in college and you don't have a direct path and direct future of where you want to go, learn a skill. One skill you can learn is sales, okay? Every man, no matter what field they're in, should learn how to sell, okay? Figure that out. Look up people like Andy Elliott, Danny G on YouTube, and just get the baseline level of what you need to learn as far as sales. But just learn how to do sales. Learn cold calling, things like that. Those are very great skills that every man should know. Because look, what you don't realize is that sales will help you out in the confidence department when talking to women, because you just talking to strangers, perfect strangers that you have no clue who they are, and you're asking them to give you some money for a product or a service, and that's tough. So get the practice with that. Become a real estate agent. Anything like that. That's with your sales, or you can get a trade. Okay. I work a blue collar job outside of doing YouTube and other things and selling digital products, but I work a blue collar job, and in my job, for the water department in Chicago, they have skilled positions like plumbers, bricklayers, and engineers. They make big money, right? Well, the laborers, we make big money too, but they make even bigger money. And you learn those skills, you go to trade school or figure out how to get into the union, the union of any one of those things, and become an apprentice and get one of those jobs. Those jobs, electricians, big money. So if you don't want to go to school and you don't have a direct business idea that you want to really get into, then those are some of the things you can do. Those are some of the things that'll make you successful as an early, young man. You know what I'm saying? So, skills, stack your skills. But none of this matters if you don't keep God first. Okay, so just make sure that you keep God first. It says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God." That's in Matthew 6:33, and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Okay, that means you can have the desires of your heart if you are in line with God the right way. Okay, so we gonna get out of here. Rich by Discipline. Look, if y'all need any help with anything, if you need a starter pack of how to really get to your money and how to save money, how to budget, things like that, I have a guide that most people can afford, no matter how old you are. It's $9.99. The link will be in the description, and the link is in the bio of my page. Let's lock in. It's your boy. Peace.